Nerd News Now. Hello, welcome to Nerd News Now. Thanks to Kyle for the counting in. It's hard to count inside my head a lot of times. So I got Kyle, I got Miss Jen, I got Brainy. We're in June. It's super hot in Texas. And Brainy, how's it out there? How's the weather out there?
Oh no, it seems like 74 degrees in here. I couldn't care less what it is outside. My car was cool. My office was cool. Our store is not cool because our air conditioning in the store has been broken.
Yikes.
Yes.
Are you guys a part of the drought states or no, Brainy?
California is always a drought state.
Oh, no.
But,
except for when it's a mudslide state.
yeah, or when it's a fire state. Well, I guess that is a drought state as well. But yeah.
Yeah, fire state is just drought on hard mode.
Yeah, exactly.
How's the weather like up where you are, Kyle?
Tornado-y.
Yeah? Are you dodging them so far?
I don't attempt to, but so far they've missed me.
That's good.
That explains where his hat went. I'm not used to seeing him without his hat.
This is true.
I can go get one.
No.
I have a stash just like right there. No, we're in this weird part of the year where it's called where death is the weather. It's either really hot, really cold, or tornadoes. And when I say that, it's because heat wave comes in, high pressure system, cold wave comes in, low pressure system, tornadoes.
Mm-hmm.
When they hit, that's what causes a tornado, or bow echo winds, or straight line wind. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that can happen that are super fun here that really you only understand if you live in a tornado or a hurricane city, because they're basically the same. Tornadoes are just land hurricanes.
We do, but I don't know what a bow echo is. What in the world is that?
The bow echo is so it's when they don't quite form, but there starts to be some rotation, so the cloud and the front gets a real big curve in it and creates straight lined winds.
I thought tornado happened when Andre the Giant grabbed Hulk Hogan by the legs and started spinning him around. Isn't that what created all the tornadoes?
No.
No, you're thinking about how earthquakes were created. You're thinking about how earthquakes were created when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre in WrestleMania 3.
Yes.
Like everything you feel after that was created. That's
I thought they created all the weather though. The tornadoes were because he was spinning him around. Earthquakes are when Hulk Hogan body slams Andre. Yeah. And hurricanes are just when Hulk Hogan opens his mouth, starts speaking, and just crap comes out of it, right?
If you live in Florida.
You said you used to live in Florida, or he's in Florida?
No, if you live in Florida, that's what happens.
Oh, sure. Yeah, but they have their own weather perils there. I think Texas qualifies as a hurricane city. Right, Miss? I think so.
Oh, yeah, I think we've had a couple.
Well,
yeah.
I think we're like, how many tropical storms have been named so far? 3? Are we on 4 or 5 already? Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I think we ran out of letters. We went around the alphabet a couple times.
Yeah, they went through like the Greek letters last time and had to reset. So probably going to be a long season again. But so far so good. It's just they want us to turn our air conditioner off all the time, and I don't want to.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with having a smart thermostat. And we register for the DWP program, and every day they take control of it and turn it up. I'm like, why the heck is it so hot in my house?
Now, did you give them the ability to do that, or was that something that was on the forms that you didn't realize at the time that you were signing away?
Well, I mean, we can opt out of it. It is an opt-in where they'll give us a rebate. I think it's every 3 months or something like that. Basically, we can opt out of it. And we can always turn the thermostat to what we want if it gets too uncomfortable. So it's not like they're doing it. They're not forcing us into it, but they are changing it. I know or at least Nest itself is changing it. It's taking it up, I think, 78, 79 degrees during the day, which of course isn't that bad.
I think that's too hot. I don't know. I'm just uncomfortable like that, though.
If it gets above 70, I'm going, man, it's warm in here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we here in Southern California, anything above 76 is too hot. Anything below 72 is too cold.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'm worried because it's only June, and they're already on us in Texas to really monitor that, turn it off during the day, and it's like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen when August gets here.
Summer storms?
No, just heat. I mean, probably storms too. I mean, the hurricanes will alleviate the heat like every 3 weeks or so. It's gonna be a nightmare. We'll see.
Absolutely.
Y'all should move to the north. I'm just saying.
You just mentioned like 18 things that could go wrong, and any day you call it like the summer.
Yeah, but we can set our air conditioners at 62, and ain't nobody gonna say a word. Also, we have water, and like all the stuff that you guys have problems with. Is it worth the trade-off for tornadoes?
No, I like having my
no.
I like keeping my roof on my house. Thank you.
Hey, there was a tornado a couple years ago that came through, and the joke was that it did $10,000 worth of repairs. So not all bad.
Sure.
But no, it's we get snow, we get tornadoes, we get mayflies.
Ugh.
You get locusts? You have locusts?
I've not seen any. I'm told they're around.
I
know that the Cincinnati Dayton area, which is like 4 hours south of here, does. So
I might be one of the few people who prefers hot over the cold weather. I'll take a little bit of a heat over snow.
I do.
You can always put on more clothes, but once you're naked and hot, you're kind of stuck. You can always put on more clothes if you're cold.
So what we figured out here in Houston is like once you are sweaty, it kind of acts as a natural air conditioner for you. So it doesn't matter whether you have no clothes on or whatever. You just get nice and wet no matter what.
That's I think that's going into shock, leading to heat stroke.
I think before February here, Miss Jen, that most Texans would have said they preferred the cold to the heat. But now I think we're back to the heat over the cold.
Right.
Seeing what real cold was actually capable of.
Yeah. We're like, yeah, no thank you.
At least here. But then it's, all the...
See, but like I said, that storm you guys had would have been nothing up here.
Well, yeah, but because you have an infrastructure that would have survived.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, snow isn't even that bad. It sucks. But it isn't even that bad because we've got giant machinations to take care of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it really is do you want to be mildly inconvenienced by essentially living in a slushy 4 months out of the year? And then during the summer, occasionally having to run from cows that fly through the air in tornadoes like in the movie Twister, or be hot and have to turn your air conditioner to 85 in the summer. I'll take tornadoes and slightly awkward snowstorms.
I just want to remind, anything above 76 is too hot. Anything below 72 is too cold.
Rainy will buy you a coat.
I have a coat.
Oh, it's an option to move to Adelon, and then I'm going there.
I don't know. It's the hot tub's too hot here most of the time, but in October the weather's great. So we'll see what happens this year. I do not know what's going to happen. So there's quite a lot of stuff on the docket. The most general stuff though would be, streaming, box office. We got one comic book announcement I'm excited about, and some other stuff is just, movies coming out. We got show premieres. So we'll just get into it and see which of these things that you guys have heard of, seen, or excited about. Actually, let me reset though. Kyle, what have you been up to this past week?
What is nothing, Bob?
Oh,
I have
nothing. You're
actively
always talking
done
about being too
nothing.
busy, though.
No, I'm
Okay.
kidding. No, let's see. I moved my record player to the studio. I worked a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then I worked a whole bunch some more.
Man, your boss is mean.
Did
Yeah.
you get any
Then
work done? Though?
yes, I did. Then I worked a whole bunch some more. I made dinner for my family tonight, which was like the only thing I've done that was like fun.
Should we call
that
911?
that didn't involve eating.
I mean, dinner kind of does involve eating, though.
Right.
No, like the cooking part was what I mean by fun. Like it's been so like I went and had a nice dinner with a friend of mine on Saturday, but it was drive to dinner, eat dinner, come back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Friday I had lunch with some friends, drive to lunch, have lunch, come back to work. Whereas I went home today, cooked, ate dinner, then come back to work. It was like an extra activity.
What'd you cook, though?
Oh, sausage and egg quesadillas.
Oh, that sounds good. What type of sauce did you use?
Bob Evans.
Okay. Is that like smoked or breakfast or what?
Bob Evans.
Okay.
That's a style now.
I went into the fridge. Bob Evans sausage. This will work. Didn't read the packaging.
No. Why? It's just sausage. It's fine.
Yeah, Mark asking questions about sausage is like, that thing where, the Jeff Foxworthy joke where women always want more information than men are willing to give them, than men have.
Okay.
So the bit is that he goes to his wife and says, I just got a text, pray for Greg, he was in a bad accident. Well, were his wife and kids with him? I got a text, said, pray for Greg, he was in a bad accident. Well, what hospital is he at? I got a text, said, pray for Greg, he's in a bad accident. Was he responsible? I got a text, said, pray for Greg, he was in a bad accident. Like,
yeah, well, but
what
the
kind
thing
of sausage
was,
is it?
right?
The kind you put in your face?
See, you weren't with Greg when he was in the accident, but you were there when you cooked the sausage. So, well, I just figured
Only barely.
So,
only barely.
Was a sausage in the car?
Right.
With Greg.
With Greg. Was that how he got in an accident? Was he going to the store to pick up some sausage for you?
No, that was really the highlight of my week was the cooking the dinner there, and then yeah.
No, I do have a very important question of you, Kyle.
Ah.
Who the is Greg?
No idea. He was in a bad accident. Jeff Foxworthy got a text.
Miss Jen, what about you? What have you been up to this past week?
Okay, I did two crazy things this last week. One, so my favorite challenge is when I can think of something kind of fun and helpful I can do for a friend, and then I can surprise them with. So I did. Kyle helped me very much to be able to surprise Garrett Gunn and Dr. Christy Bland with.
That was this week.
Yep, with a really sick and scary dark web inspired video.
Yeah.
For Good Boy. And then also I did a dumb thing last week, which ended up being amazing. Before I opened my store, I used to, when I was, in between my first store and this one, when the boys were little, I used to kind of like make extra money and like build up stock in anticipation of opening this one by going on eBay and looking up, Toy Lot and looking for the most expensive thing and see if there was like, someone's giant collection that they were selling for a price that I thought I could break down and sell individually. And I decided to look up Toy Lot just for fun the other day while I was sitting behind the counter. I should have known better. But it ended up being the best thing ever. So I found a storage locker that is local to me, like within 45 minutes. So I can just go drive and get. That is the consolidation of like 2 or 3 Toys R Us stores. When they closed, they just put them all in this locker. So I was so funny because I made them an offer on it because it had been up there since April. And they sent me a message back with a lower offer than I gave them, which is what I expect. And what's so funny is that the thing that they had sold out of the locker was the Toys R Us like shopping carts. There was like 5 shopping carts in there, which for some reason meant I got an extra $200 off from my lowball offer. So I'm super excited. I get a whole bunch of Toys R Us shopping bags. I've been wanting those since they closed down. I've wanted to be able to like have my customers take Toys R Us shopping bags home. So now I have 120 boxes of them.
Send a box my way.
I will. You want the yellow ones? The white ones?
The yellow ones. The Jeffrey one.
I'll look and see what styles they are. I think the white ones are the smaller size, and I think they have giant yellow ones and giant turquoise ones.
Yeah, I need the giant ones.
And how big are these storage lockers? Because if you're talking about 3 different Toys R Us and their stuff, like how much stuff are we talking?
They just consolidated it all into one.
But that's still a lot of stuff. Is this like shelving or actual toys or what?
Shelving, toys. You know how Toys R Us were also like a Baby R Us, so there's a bunch of like pieces of baby furniture still boxed up. For some reason, there's a love seat and 2 really nice chairs and a rug and other things in there and a giant TV. I don't know if they came from like a back room or something, but they look really nice. My husband's like, what are you going to do with that stuff? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to have a sidewalk sale, I think.
Facebook Marketplace, man. Like, so there's a big market in the, put that stuff on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
If you can convince people it didn't fall off the back of a truck, you can ask a little bit more.
But I can't wait. I'm going to go down Thursday or Friday and go pick it up. I have to rent a trailer because I don't think I'll be able to fit it all in the truck. But it's going to be fun. I've got something inside of me that loves when people bring in big collections to be able to open up the boxes. It feels like Christmas to me. And this is like a giant Christmas with a bow on it who knows what's in this thing. He says it's everything in the storage locker except for the shopping carts.
So they priced those shopping carts at $40 each then.
I guess so. I mean, it's probably fair, right?
Yeah, I would buy a Toys R Us shopping cart for $40.
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy a new shopping cart for less than $200.
No, because I was thinking like getting my own sticker and putting it over the Toys R Us, but then I was like, probably over time because I have a breezeway, the Mark the breezeway.
Yeah.
And I just thought I really did say that over time I'm pretty sure people would just steal them, but so this just saves me from being upset over my stolen shopping carts.
Yeah, you would probably unfortunately have to find an area to put those inside. I mean, some people would use shopping carts in your store, but they just might take up too much space. And if you left them outside, yeah, they're gone. I think they'd be gone, but that would be cool though. Well, good luck. You have to let us know what's in it.
Absolutely.
I'll take a bunch of pictures.
Hands on. Yeah. Brainy, what about you? What have you been up to?
Nothing. No, my life has not been as exciting as Jen's and Kyle's. That mine's been just a dull freaking work every day, and except for a little bit of frustration at work. At work, one of the things I do is we send out bids for new projects, and we had a bid due last week. Of course, the day before it was due, they postponed it. Like, great, I prepared for everything, and of course, it's postponed. Same thing today. I'm getting ready to get another one going. This morning we find out it's been postponed, and I'm like, God, man, you guys just it gets a little frustrating. But beyond that, yeah, just goofing off. That's it. Working, and trying to get a new air conditioning unit. One thing I would advise everybody who is trying to open up a store: read your lease carefully. I thought I was signing a standard lease, which I had signed previously and everything, where the landlord is responsible for any major repairs of pipes or air conditioning and stuff like that. I guess we learned that we are responsible for repairing and replacing. Repairing, we understand because it's maintenance and stuff, but we are also responsible for replacing our air conditioning unit. So make sure you read your lease exactly.
Wow. I'm assuming you're not able to stay within that 72 to 76 degree sweet spot with no AC in.
No, not necessarily, but I only work once or twice a week at the store now, so that's
Not really his problem.
It is because I do not want my customers and employees to feel uncomfortable there, so it is technically my problem.
Yeah, but if you're not there, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, I wish I felt that way.
What'd you do, Mark? What was your week about?
He disappeared.
Oh, did we scare him away?
I just asked him about himself, and he just said, "Nope, he's a super secret agent man." Oh, there he is.
So
if you didn't want to answer the question, Mark, you could have just said so.
Oh, so I got all the settings on my phone set to ignore, and it's still interrupted with the phone call. So, I've been also trying to keep it between 72 degrees and 76 degrees over here, but no, just school and work. Trying to keep up with all the streaming stuff and all the movies coming out and all the comics. It's just not happening right now. So, Father's Day was yesterday, so happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Was able to spend time with my dad, so that was cool. But other than that, just school and work, which is all, and also school is work. So not too much going on yet. I'm eagerly anticipating getting back out to conventions. We got Comic Palooza here in like less than 30 days. So it'll be interesting to see what that's like. But Miss Jen, like, they haven't really announced any guests at all. I mean, there's like 8 guests when there's normally 70. So do you think that's COVID, or do you think like is there going to be this like feeling out process for conventions until they're ready to go all in? And also, it's 2 days instead of 4 days.
I honestly want them to find a better balance, because usually they overdo the guest list that's not comic book related. I mean, I feel like they could have a billion comic book guests and that'd be fine. But when they have too many big celebrity guests, and a celebrity guest needs $225 for a picture or whatever, then it kind of stretches the pocketbook of the average family. So if you have like a mom and dad and a couple kids going, and you want to get one autograph of something, then like, is there any money left for spending with the dealers? It makes it really, really hard as a dealer to be able to pay for your really expensive booth.
yeah,
I think conversely though, that's how they think they get people in there. For example, if we're in your comic book store and someone says who's going to be there, and you say Ryan Stegman and Donnie Cates, people are going to be like, ah.
Yeah.
But if I say that at work, they're going to be like this.
but if Ryan Stegman and Donnie Cates are sucking all the money out of the room, so that Jen's store can't actually make any money, that's a problem.
And that's something I feel that the convention organizers are forgetting about. The comic book conventions were about dealers and comic book customers getting together and trying to get everything together, and dealers making deals with others. And the other thing they're forgetting is a lot of us comic book collectors don't really have that much disposable income. We're not rich guys that can afford $500 signatures from movie stars and stuff. That's not. And if you're gonna get that, we're gonna not get anything else. That's it. We're just there to get Donnie Cates' $50 signature, and that's all I can afford, and that's all I'm gonna get.
So this
Right,
is what
and it's they also overestimate, I think, on some level, who their bread and butter is.
Mhm.
Yes.
Which is to say, if you're there's a con, and I could give you the name of it, and I wouldn't mind saying it. That made this mistake terribly a couple of years ago, and I was there, and I was with some artist friends, and Sunday it was noon, and we packed up and left because they had booked so many high dollar celebrities that the only people who came to the convention were the celebrity autograph hunters.
ECC?
No.
So this is what I think.
Uh,
Done yet, and if they did, I think it would be super successful. If any convention actually spent any time advertising the booths that are going to be there and what they're going to be carrying to get people excited, they would sell just as many tickets based on there's going to be a rare poster guy. I love posters. I'm going to go and get a poster for my dad who loves posters. Or if I knew there was going to be,
in the current market, somebody's going to have Pokemon.
Yes. That's what will get people in the door, or to spend the money to come and buy a ticket. If they know there's going to be 3 Pokemon booths, or a dealer that's going to have a bunch of rare Magic the Gathering, or there's going to be 20 Silver Age comic book booths, that makes it worth someone's while to come and shop in one space.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less about meeting a celebrity. I really couldn't. I was going to make a joke that by this time next week, I'll visited 15 comic book stores and met Lou Ferrigno twice. And the reality of that is I was excited to meet Lou Ferrigno, but he's charging $100 for his autograph. I don't care about Lou Ferrigno enough to spend $20 on his autograph, let alone $100.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing against Lou Ferrigno, though. Yeah.
No, nothing against Lou Ferrigno, but why? You know what I mean? I don't. It's. I wouldn't spend the money on Jason David Frank. I'm not going to spend the money on Lou Ferrigno. You might have you reincarnate Stan Lee. Maybe we'll talk. But it's the big thing that I've noticed, and this is, I saw it happen at Motor City Comic Con a couple years ago. Sunday, everybody's making money. All the comic book vendors are making money. All the artists are doing good. And David Tennant shows up. He was only there on Sunday, and he was running late. He gets there, and it's like the air came out of the room. Because everybody went to go see David Tennant. Mm-hmm. And now all of a sudden, you've got artists who are there just trying to make their living, who are losing money because they're sitting there. So it's, when we talk about, we spend a lot of time on here talking about box office numbers and talking about movies and streaming and stuff. And that's all relevant because it's part of the zeitgeist. But if conventions focus on it, they're really doing a disservice to everyone, because they're not treating their vendors well enough to convince the vendors to go back. They're not treating their guests well enough to convince them to want to come back the next year because they're gouging them for celebrity prices. And then your convention stops working. So.
And then they end up becoming a entertainment convention instead of being a comic book convention. San Diego's an entertainment convention. It's no longer a comic book convention, at least in my eyes.
It's true.
Same thing with, I guess, New York. I've never been to New York, but it's starting to mimic San Diego.
New York, the advantage New York has is the sheer size of the Artist Alley.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's wonderful.
Well, it does have a lot of that entertainment convention stuff going on. The Artist Alley is so big that it maintains you can go for both. I can go to meet artists and buy comics, and I don't even have to know that celebrities are there unless I run into them in the bathroom.
Heck, I still wouldn't know who the heck they are.
It's true.
With the Artist Alley at New York Comic Con, this was in 2019 anyway, it was about 10 times too small. With the amount of people, I was in Jen Bartel's line, and I just couldn't do it because it was going 10 rows deep. Mm-hmm. They don't know. I know they know who's popular because they booked them, but then it's logistically they don't place them where they should be placed. You got people in the middle where they got 100 people and they just like to the back of the room, and it's like I don't understand why some of these artists don't get their separate rooms, or they're on the side where you can like make the line accordingly. But I don't know who does those maps, and I know it's a lot of work to put together a convention, obviously, and I know there's cancellations and stuff you can't plan on, but it's like if you're planning a wedding reception, you know which of your relatives not to put at the same table because you don't want a fight to break out on your special day, right? So if someone's planning a comic convention, don't they know like which of the artists are going to have 100 people at all times?
I don't
know
think
if you guys have insight to that, but it's just like the positioning of those rooms leaves a lot to be desired most of the time.
Yeah, I don't think the people who are actually doing this, the table assignment and everything, I don't think they know who some of these people are. They might just be volunteers working just to, or even low paid employees that are just.
So I can speak to Reed Pop shows.
Okay.
So New York, Emerald City, C2E2. The person who does Artist Alley knows, but they don't know. What they don't know is what that artist is going to do. Right? So one of the great examples is Greg Capullo. Greg Capullo will sign one thing. You come to him with 2 books, he'll only sign 1. And so Greg Capullo's line can run 10, 15 rows deep, but it moves at a pretty steady clip. Whereas when I met Gail Simone, she would sign as many things as you liked. So you'd have guys with stacks of books this tall. There you go. And she'd sign them all. And so her list goes really her line goes really slowly. So it's they don't know what the artist or creator is going to do in terms of their business. And it's not the business of the convention to dictate that in Artist Alley. So, as frustrating as that can be, there are hundreds of artists in Artist Alley who are skilled and gifted artists who aren't getting a second look from most people because all they want to do is get the autograph from that one big creator and they don't care. So, I have no sympathy for the people who wait in line for hours or who can't get the autograph from that one great big creator because they're unwilling to wait in line. If that's what's going to make your whole convention, maybe reconsider why you're going.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, but the artists have to pay for the Artist Alley tables, right?
Many of them do. Now, you get to a certain level, like the 2 names I just mentioned. I don't think they're paying for their Artist Alley tables.
Right.
But 90, I would say 95 to 98% do.
Mm-hmm.
But my argument was not the weight, it's the positioning of the line. So I want you to be able to go to the unknown artists and the artists that need your attention more, but you can't if they have big artists, 3 unknowns, big artists, 3 unknowns, big artists, 3 unknowns. Like when Dallas was up and running full force before they sold to Fan Expo, they had a perfect system for that, like a whole wall, and the lines could go back as far, and it didn't matter. And then the rest of Artist Alley was to the left.
But then how many people are going to get in those lines and are never venturing into Artist Alley?
Well, that I don't know, but I would assume a lot of them.
That's why you have to mix the big names in.
Well, we're not talking about. I'm not talking about David Tennant. I'm talking about Ryan Stegman.
No, I'm talking about Ryan Stegman. I'm talking about Nick Spencer having to be mixed in with everybody else because otherwise people will just go to them and then they'll bugger off. They're not going to go into Artist Alley and discover somebody they've never heard of before.
Well,
There's not.
I don't know. I feel like they're more likely to walk around if it's comfortable to walk around, if there's space. But that's me.
And I feel like they're more likely if there's not a reason to go down an aisle, they're not going to go down that aisle. So
right. Okay. I mean, I can see it both
I like
ways.
what they do at Chicago, particularly is So if Ryan Stegman was the fourth booth in, they'll queue his line at the end of the row, and they'll let 3 people come up and get in line for his table, and then they'll hold the rest, and then the next 3 can come. They do a really good job of that in Chicago. And I think that has something to do with fire code, but also, it's Reed knows what they're doing. So I like that kind of setup. I think it's a good way to get people into the rows, even if it's a little congested.
It's going to take me time to get back up to speed to want to jump into a congested row, but it might probably looks like it's going to be happening faster than not at this point. So.
Yeah, and there's not a creator out there whose autograph I desired that much where I would want to get into a line and stand for 6-7 hours. So yeah, I'm there with you, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know. I just just playing devil's advocate real quick with the Tenet example. And I'm sure someone's run the math or done the statistics, but since I'm taking a statistics course right now, it'd be interesting to know if David Tennant had not been there on Sunday, would all those people ran out of the dealer's room because, would they have even been there? Because I'm thinking if everyone was like, "Whoa, David Tennant," that's because they were there waiting for that moment.
I think had David Tennant been on time,
yeah,
it would have been a different demon.
Oh, okay.
I think had he been there 2 days, it would have been a different demon. But he was literally only there Sunday, and he was 4 hours late.
Okay.
So it's, but again, everybody's seen it happen. Where you're at a convention where Stan Lee is, and Stan gets to his table, and it's a ghost town. You're at a small convention, and the cosplay contest happens, and it's a ghost town. It's conventions need to spend more time, especially post-pandemic, thinking about the way they program for the whole.
Yeah.
Because now that everyone and their brother has had to figure out how to not need how to survive without conventions, right? How to sell online, how to do everything else. It's going to be a lot easier for somebody to go, well, this 3-day convention was a ghost town on Friday and Sunday. Saturday was my only day. I'm just not going to do it. And all of a sudden you don't have vendors, which is how conventions make their money. They don't make their money on the celebrities. They lose money on the celebrities. They make their money on selling booth space to schmucks like us. And if enough schmucks like us say, we're not going to set up because you're not building a convention that's conducive to me turning a profit, then I don't need to come back. I can be online. I can be at a farmer's market where I paid $6 for my booth, I made 600, as opposed to here where I spent 1,000 to make 1,200.
That's 1,000.
It's
1,000 just for the booth, and then you got to pay for the hotels, you got to pay for the ride, you got to pay for your lunch, your staff's lunch, their time and everything. So you end up losing money already.
The booth is the cheapest part of vending in a convention.
Yep.
But so this is my year, right? Looking at conventions, is that I'm not a traditional retailer anymore. I don't have a brick and mortar store. I'm online only at best. And right now I'm not even that. I'm storage facility of comic books. So it's, how do I make money on a table at a convention? Well, the convention has to bring in comic book buyers. And if they bring in celebrity hunters, then there's no money there for me and I won't go back.
I think, I know there's a fine line between all this, but it almost sounds like if they had just a comic convention and charged $10 a head instead of 50, that would be the way to go for you guys anyway. I was just trying to tell you that, if I'm at work and I mention comic book creators' names all day, no one's perking their ears up. You have to name the biggest. You have to say Jeremy Renner or something for people to go. Oh. So I think.
Well, but are the people who you work with, Mark, going to come to the convention and spend a dime with us anyway?
Yes, if you get them in the door. But that's the tricky part, though.
I doubt they will.
Correct. If they're there for the celebrity, they're there for the
Yeah,
celebrity.
if they don't know who comic book creators are, they're not going to spend a dime with us anyway.
And
I think, but they're gonna buy toys and comics. You don't have to know who the creators are to buy like Legos and stuffed animals.
no,
and
not
stuff
necessarily. We've already seen that from the effects of MCU versus true comic book stories. You know, a lot of people know who the Avengers are, but they don't know who the Avengers are. You know, they know Iron Man being Robert Downey Jr., but they don't know the whole story behind Iron Man. They don't know, origin and stuff like that. And they don't care. They just like what they see on the TV, and that's who they want to meet.
Right. And then they come to your booth going, well, do you have any of that guy? Because I want to get his stuff autographed.
Yep.
And if you don't, they walk away.
Correct.
Yeah.
All they want you to do is facilitate them meeting a celebrity. And if that's the only way, if you're counting on that to make money at a convention, you're going to lose money.
Yep.
And so, Miss Jen, I had an idea.
Ooh.
I wondered, any convention that you've ever been a part of that you were going to have a table at, have they ever asked you to submit like a minute or minute and a half vendor profile that they can then upload and feature you as like a vendor of the day type thing? Because that would be the way to go, right?
I think the most I've ever been asked for is my web address.
Correct.
Oh, well, I mean, I think with Instagram especially, they should do that. A 90-second video profile. And then if you had time, you could even say what you're going to be featuring at your booth at the show. But if not, if you just submitted like a 60-second Space Cadets commercial, I think that's enough for people to be able to retain. Because like I said, there's 30 days till Comicpalooza. There's going to be, who knows how many vendors. I know it's smaller than normal, but just do one a day. And it just
but let's extrapolate this idea a little bit, Mark.
Okay.
You're a convention that's already lost a year.
Yeah.
Of profitability. You've got to pay guarantees for certain celebrities and creators to show up. Your vendor hall size is down, and you're going to pay somebody to aggregate this information from your vendors and then post it to social media. That's just cutting into your existing profit. Whereas what you can do when you ask a vendor to register is say, include your web address and just list them on the website with no other information, which is cheaper.
Well, no, we know it's cheaper, but
right.
You guys were
which
saying,
are you more likely to do? Are you going to protect your profits, or are you going to do that?
You can also ask the vendor when they're filling out their application. It could be an online Google form and say, hey, what kind of product are you going to be carrying? What is it you're going to sell? You can automatically list that. There are ways to get around it.
Most shows that I register for do that, but never once do they mention it anywhere or do any kind of promotion. Most often, what I see is one of our vendors will be Kyle's store, and here's his logo. Thanks for joining us, and here's our sponsors.
But how hard is it for them to just say, hey, this is one of our vendors, Kyle's, and then they put Kyle's logo on there, and they put right underneath, this is what he's looking to sell.
Not hard, but certainly harder than not doing that.
Hey, I'm trying to make it better for the vendors here, guys.
I know, right?
I understand, but there's a level of making it better, and then there's a level of actuality. Like, I would really love for the Knights Hall shows where I spend $100 for a table and can make $500 or $600 in a day just selling comic books, to book a celebrity once in a while to get some new people through the door. But I'm also not willing to pay more than $100 a table.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I know. Yeah.
So, I don't expect anything more than the minimum, but I also expect you to keep your booth prices at the lowest you can. So if it costs, one of the great shows that I recommend is a show called Monroe Pop Fest. It's usually my best show by percentage of the year. Because booths are, a 10 by 10 is $125, $150, somewhere in that range. I can't tell you the last time I only bought a 10 by 10, so I don't actually remember. But I can buy 4 booths that cost me $500, and I'll turn $5,000 or $6,000 in one day. But what that guy does is he brings in a bunch of Power Rangers you've never heard of, but they're still Power Rangers. and maybe a couple of washed up professional wrestlers. You know, that their guarantees $500 plus a hotel room and dinner. You know, and then he'll bring in maybe one horror icon. You know, then what he does to bring people in is like this year he has James O'Barr, creator of The Crow. And he'll get as many of the guys who worked on that first appearance of The Crow together, and that's his draw.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps the booth price really low. He makes good money. They turn a ton of tickets, and there's enough money left in the room for everybody because tickets are only $10. And everybody makes money. Everybody walks out of there happy. And that's the way you have to do it, I think, is you've got to... Conventions need to worry less about bringing in Chris Evans and more about bringing in... I was going to make a Bob Evans joke, but that went over poorly earlier.
Just give her what, sausage at the door? What?
I show up.
It depends. What
Like, you get your choice when you come to the door. 2 sausage links or two strips of bacon. And I'm going to buy 4 tickets just so I can get enough sausage and bacon.
So we know how to get Kyle into a convention. Basically, offer sausage and bacon for entry.
But no, it's like I said, it's you've got to find that line, and I think regionally it matters too.
And you're absolutely right. But I have a feeling every single convention is trying to do San Diego. They're all trying to be San Diego. They all think they can be San Diego. They believe they need the big celebrities to get people in, which they don't. At least we don't think they do.
No, the Knights Hall shows that I do sometimes, we'll get 300 or 400 people through the door for 10 vendors. But every one of those vendors, man, they're bringing their stuff.
Yep.
If I set up my silver and bronze versus these guys' silver and bronze, I'm the flea market guy, and I've got good stuff. You know, some of these guys are guys who only do these shows and they only deal high end. And it's really interesting to watch the people who show up because they know that they can grab that giant size X-Men #1 without having to deal with the masses that are going to show up so that they can meet freaking Jeremy Renner or somebody.
Which also drives the price of that book up because you have people coming in with more money that don't know the market price, but they just know it's hot, so they're going to overpay for it.
No.
I think so. In the situation of a big show, I think so.
Again, the people who are there for the celebrities, they don't care for it.
You tell somebody a book's $3,000, they're going to walk away.
Yeah, they're like, it's a piece of paper.
Right. You go to a real comic book show with comic book people, and you tell them, oh, this GSX is $3,000. They're going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and determine whether or not it's worth $3,000 or $2,800. And then you're going to get your money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Truth.
Yep.
It's a really easy trap to fall into, believing that celebrities generate revenue, because they don't.
No, they take away revenue. They're taking away more money than they're actually bringing into the shows. They're making money for the convention hosts. They're definitely making them money. They're making themselves money. They're making the big publishers money because the big publishers can do exclusives they can offer at the conventions. Tie it in with the celebrities that are there. They can definitely do that. But the vendors that are there, the ones that are spending thousands of dollars, that basically started the conventions. They're not making that much money anymore.
C2E2, when I priced it last, was a whole month's rent for a 10x10 booth for 3 days. For me.
And is that worth it for you, though?
Absolutely not. There's no way you can make enough money by the time you pay for hotel, pay for travel, pay for food, pay for the booth. There's no way you can make enough money to justify that.
Yeah, in fact, there was a local convention we used to do. We didn't make much money off of them, but what we were, and we didn't go there to make money. We went there to promote because they were local to us.
Right.
And that's something we can't do with the big cons where we can't promote ourselves either. So we are. If we get a booth at Big Cons, it would be because we're going there to make money, not to.
Right. Right. I would be willing to break even at a local show.
Correct.
You know, a show in my backyard where I can sleep in my own bed.
Yep.
If I hand out 2,000 flyers for my store.
Yep. Break even or even lose a little bit of money because it is advertisement for you.
Right. That's not how it goes if you got to go to Chicago or you got to go to San Diego or New York or wherever.
So, Mark, I know we had a lot of other stuff to talk about, and so far it's been.
And we've been at this an hour.
I forget that you guys are on the other side of this, right? So I can only give you my opinion as someone who buys stuff and likes autographs. So, but I appreciate all the insight. I think though, as a group, we can decide what Kyle should do is buy an extra table at a local show and then just serve bacon and eggs. I feel like that's
okay. So I've been on this soapbox now on this thing. Do you want to know the times I've made the most money at conventions? Is when I've bought an extra table and brought in my own celebrity.
There you go.
Was it Bob?
What is your own celebrity?
Bob Evans.
So I did a convention in 2019 where I bought an extra table and had Ming at my booth, Ming Chen from Comic Book Men. I had another convention where I brought in a buddy of mine who's an independent wrestler because it was a wrestling and comic book show. Now, he wasn't booked on the card, but here's this independent wrestler at my booth, and he's selling his T-shirts or whatever. And so I think having a low enough level celebrity, Ming is not a low level celebrity, but having a low enough level celebrity that the cost of bringing them in doesn't outweigh the cost of the table. And that was Ming was like, dude, fly me in and buy me a case of Vernors and we're good.
Nice.
Because it was in his hometown. It's like he stayed at his parents' house. He borrowed their car to drive to the convention. His mommy dropped him off at the convention.
Was Greg supposed to be one of your celebrity guests when he got into that accident? Now, Mark, the problem.
See if I can book Jeff Foxworthy.
The biggest problem with Kyle serving bacon and eggs is he'd be eating his own profits.
Yeah.
I did just buy a shirt that says, "Give me all the bacon and eggs you have." It's got Ron Swanson's face on it. It's actually my Facebook profile picture.
So, since we got about 7 minutes left, let's just do you guys a favor and go to comics. Let me tell you about the comic that I teased being excited about. So I just watched Sweet Tooth. I'm a big Jeff Lemire fan. I hear about this movie, Maze Book. Have you guys heard about this? And tell me about it. Or if not, I can tell you about it. It's fine.
I think you may want to tell us about it.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a book I found out he's working on in September, and it sounds like this. Jeff Lemire writes and draws his own books. This is going to be a 5-issue limited series, and it's about a father of a girl who has recently passed away who is infatuated with puzzles. And so it's like this, almost like channeling Labyrinth. And he's basically going on this quest to, he starts talking to her and says she's trapped in the labyrinth. And so he goes on this quest to find his daughter. And so in typical Jeff Lemire fashion, it sounds whimsical and weird, so I'm all about it. And I'm sure if it's good or if it's not, it's going to be optioned because it's Jeff Lemire. So that's Maze Book by Jeff Lemire, and I believe the first issue drops in September. So that's it for me for comic news. Since I don't normally bring anything to the table on this section, I brought you that. So, but Miss Jen, take it over from here. Comics this week.
I also would be not as super helpful as usual, but I do know that MFKZ #1 is coming out, which is based on a Netflix series that started out its life as a French, like almost manga, I think. And I know about it because Rotatelli, who just had a big hit, completely sold out, Freak Snow, like 2 weeks ago. He's the creator that's involved in the behemoth release of this book, and it's already pre-sold out. They already sold 40,000 copies of it to retailers, and I'm sure it's going to be a high demand book because it looks awesome. So I guess you can go watch it on Netflix and get inspired for reading on Wednesday.
It isn't kids friendly, but it is it was a good series. I watched it all in one seating, if I remember correctly, or maybe 2 seatings. Yeah, it's a good show. Good Luck by Boom comes out this week as well. Good Luck #1.
Nice.
Garth Ennis and Liam Sharp, Batman Reptilian.
I heard good things about that. Like it was really, really good from people who pre-read it.
What strikes fear into the hearts of those who terrorize Gotham? It used to be Batman, but something far more frightening than a mere man stalks the shadows, and it's after Gotham's villains. How savage must a monster be to haunt the dreams of monsters? All right, Garth Ennis. You do you, man. You do you.
What's interesting is, at least in my poll, there's a lot of second, third, fourth prints coming out this week. So, which means either we're under ordering books, or there are just books where we're getting more readers in. I'm leaning more towards us under ordering, but that's a different story too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You Promised Me Darkness #3 is this week. Wonder Woman Black and Gold #1.
And we cannot forget Spawn Universe #1 comes out this week.
Yes. Spawn. That's going to be a big book.
I went deep.
Now what is Spawn Universe? Is that expanding on something, or?
It's the launch of their new line. So there's 4 new books coming out in the Spawn universe, and this is the lead into all of it.
Okay.
Right, and so there's the one. So in the Spawn universe, there's the one that he wrote with John Leguizamo, which is the Destroyer book. There's one that he's doing with from Game of Thrones.